I'd like to welcome everybody to the regular council meeting of July 16th, 2019. If I could have everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Mayor Racy,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Porter,
Here.
Councilman Miller,
Present.
Councilman Webster,
Here.
Councilman Dowd,
Here.
Councilwoman Skiff,
Here.
Councilman Wagner.
Here.
Quorum is present. Item number 1 is to approve the agenda.
Move to approve without exception. Support.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 2 is the city council minutes. 2A is regular meeting of July 2nd, 2019.
Move to approve. Support.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 3 is presentations. 3A, presentation by Maxwell Cameron regarding City of Wayne Downtown Days. And also 3B, presentation by Wayne Main Street and Wayne Historical Society to the City of Wayne regarding the city's 150th anniversary.
Good evening, Mayor and members of City Council. My name is Maxwell Cameron. I'm the Executive Director for Wayne Main Street. I'm first here to share a really exciting item with you tonight regarding our 2019 Downtown Days events that will be taking place August 9th and 10th at Veterans Plaza in downtown Wayne. And this is actually the third year that we've hosted Downtown Days in our city, but we're taking a new approach to the event this year. So I wanted to share some details and information with you. As opposed to previous years, we're going to be holding all of the festivities associated with Downtown Days in one single space at Veterans Plaza, which is very conveniently located right next to the Wayne Public Library, adjacent to downtown Wayne's parking garage. So not only are we going to be able to bring in the Wayne Public Library as a partner for the event, we're excited that we have such convenient parking located next to the venue for this year's Downtown Days. As years in the past, we're going to be doing some art-focused contests. This will be the third year that Downtown Days has hosted our Window on Wayne photography contest. I'm pleased to share with you tonight that as of yesterday, voting online opened for Window on Wayne. And so if you go to Facebook and search Window on Wayne Contest 2019, you'll be able to like the pictures that you'd like to see displayed at our Downtown Days event this year. And those photographs feature different aspects of Wayne, and they'll be hosted in the Wayne Public Library itself during our events. We're also going to be doing, for the second year in a row, our Artomotive Art Hood Design Contest. This is where we ask different artists and designers to take a car hood and turn it into a piece of art. So that will be on display throughout the events again in August there. It's also the third year where we're hosting the Detroit Institute of Arts drop-in workshop. This year they're going to be working with crafters and kids and groups, and anybody who signs up or comes out to stop by the workshop creating paper plants and paper flowers. So pretty cool craft that is free and open to the public. At the event, we're also going to be hosting a flea market and community garage sale. So it's a great time to pick up some deals, but also if you're looking to get rid of some stuff, clear out your attic or garage, we do have a couple of vendor spaces left for our vendor and flea market. And then finally, we are going to be hosting a number of live musical acts throughout the 2 days. We're going to be having a stage and a number of live bands. You can check out our lineup at downtowndays.org downtownwayne.org/downtown days. We're going to have food trucks, beer tents, Our sponsors will be there too, and it should be a really exciting way to help Wayne celebrate its 150th. So we're really looking forward to the event. I do have posters here if anybody's interested in helping us promote Downtown Days. And we also really want to thank all of our partners and sponsors for helping with the event. As I mentioned when I started tonight's presentation, we're doing something a little bit different this year with Downtown Days. We're bringing it all into one space. So our sponsors have been very supportive. The City of Wayne has been very supportive. And I want to specifically thank Lisa and her staff for working with us to make this possible. So thank you all, and we hope that you'll come out, volunteer, participate, and enjoy an exciting weekend in downtown Wayne. Do you want me to just go into the next item? So for our next item, I'd like to invite John Mills, who's a board member up with the Wayne Historical Society. And our board president, Juan Bradford, was going to be here tonight. He sends his hellos and best wishes, but he's currently dealing with some water issues. So we're hoping for the best. But what we wanted to do tonight is make a presentation to the City of Wayne. It's this amazing painting over here that we put together at the end of May. So the Wayne Historical Society and Wayne Main Street partnered on an event called Forward Wayne, and we contracted with a muralist to create a design for us. And then at the event, it was sort of like a paint by numbers thing. So a lot of our supporters, a lot of the society supporters got to like physically paint in components of the painting that we're presenting tonight. So it's truly created by residents of Wayne, meant to showcase some various aspects of Wayne and celebrate our community. And tonight we're giving it as a gift to the City of Wayne, and hope that you will display it in a prominent public area so that our residents and community can enjoy and celebrate the downtown in our city.
Thank you.
I just want to say it was a wonderful event for those who made it, and pretty much everybody there participated in painting the mural. My trees are to the left of the State Wayne. They did have some touch-up by the muralists afterward, but basically they're mine and I'm claiming them. So, but anyway, obviously you can tell from the history of Wayne what's there. We've got the amphitheater at Gowdy Park, the State Wayne Theater, a car that could represent the Haroon Motor Company, the Lower Rouge River and canoeing on that, and then just the other activities around town. I see a light pole to the left of the State Wayne as well in the Downtown Development Authority area, and in the flyover, obviously letting everyone know that this is Wayne, Michigan. We're proud of that, and look forward to seeing it on display.
Wonderful, thank you.
Item number 4 is site plans. 4A, site plan number 2019-01, Beaumont Urgent Care, 34435 Michigan Avenue.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Goen?
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. It's my pleasure to stand before you this evening presenting my first site plan. It's an exciting project for the City of Wayne, Beaumont Urgent Care. If you might have read in the newspaper a few days ago, they're looking at several locations, I believe 25 across the state of Michigan, and we're actually going to have a new build. This will be located just east in the vacant lot from Tim Hortons. I do have a rendering of the building up. This is a 4,500 square foot urgent care in our I-1 light industrial zoned area. On July 9th, the Planning Commission did meet. It was unanimously approved to recommend that the City Council move this forward. We are working very closely to fast track this. This is probably one of the fastest projects I've ever worked on. Mr. Byton has worked with the petitioner. We have Dan and Jeremy from Green Tech Engineering that can answer any questions you have. They're with us. We've been working as fast as we can to get the site plan approval, permits. They're working with Wayne County. The last piece of the puzzle, which I think may have come together today, or is close to coming together, the gentleman that owns the Tim Hortons, there was a clause that stated that Tim Hortons would have to give approval for a business to be located next door. He's ecstatic. He realizes the value of having this urgent care next to Tim Hortons. It's going to bring a lot of new business to his business. So the holdup was corporate, Tim Hortons corporate, obviously. That takes time. We were able to get through to them, and the attorney and the people that are working with Beaumont folks, we were able to ask today for that to be expedited through their legal department. So once, if approval is given this evening, I would imagine permits will be ready before long and shovel in the ground late summer. So that's all I have. There were 11 conditions, and they're aware of the 11 conditions put forth by the commission. And we can take any questions. Dan, if you'd like to come up.
Sure, thank you, Lori. Dan Leclerc from Green Tech Engineering. We're the civil engineers representing the applicant. He was not able to be here tonight, but they're very excited to come to Wayne. They've been looking at several different areas to bring Beaumont medical care facilities to different portions and different areas of southeast Michigan. And this is one area that they really liked, and they're excited to be here. And staff has been very gracious in working with us to help us bring this to fruition. Obviously, one of our big hurdles is Wayne County, which is always a trip, a lot of fun. But as soon as we get over that hurdle, we expect to see this thing coming out of the ground. Happy to answer any questions. Architect is here with me tonight as well with respect to the building.
Any questions from council?
Through the chair. Just for those that maybe can't see this at home, what style facade is this going to be for the building?
This building is it's a mixture of buildings that you would see. I don't want to label things, but very similar to what you'd see up on Ford Road. A lot of brick. There's a lot of EIFS components to it. It's a pretty diverse facade to the building that you'll see from both the sides as well as from Michigan Avenue side.
May I raise have one question?
Sure.
Thank you for making the investment of confidence in our community. My question would be is how much would this bring to add to our tax base? I don't know if you would have that answer. Maybe Ms. Going would. Okay.
Just one question, if I could. How far is it going to be set back from Michigan Avenue? I can't really read the,
I have to open up the plans because it has been a couple weeks. It's
thank you.
yeah, it's behind the face of Tim Hortons. I would guess it's probably close to 50 feet back.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Well, I just want to say thank you for coming out, and we're excited about this. We're going to have to vote on this, obviously, but this is a great thing for the community. So, any questions from the audience? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for investing in Wayne.
Item number 5 is boards and commissions. 5A is to accept the resignation of Margaret Harlow from the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Move to approve with a letter of gratitude in serving.
Support.
Any other questions? And just so we don't have to say that we'll put letters out for everybody that is for the resignations, so we don't have to say that every time. Any questions from anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
5B is appointment of Andrew Raisinen from Zoning Board of Appeals from first alternate to commissioner until July 2022.
Move to approve.
Support.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
5C is appointment of Leonard Fisher from Zoning Board of Appeals from second alternate up to first alternate.
Move to approve.
Support.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Five D is accept the resignation of John Van Stipdonk, Carol Bavard, Helen Brown, Marianne Daly, Barbara Heidman, Janice Kendrick, Diane Souls, and Kathy Rockwell from the Commission on Aging.
Move to approve.
Support.
Any questions?
Mayor Racy, I am not going to support or accept their resignation based on the fact of how the whole senior citizens services in this community has been dealt with. I think it speaks volumes of these individuals collaboratively speaking that I think that ideally I would have liked to seen us work more effectively with this group in particular in coming up with the admirable, suitable senior services for the city. So I cannot accept their resignation on this matter at all.
Well, it's up to them, but okay. Anybody else?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that comment.
I said that's up to them if they want to resign. I mean, if they're not going to come. But it's
Well, I
up to
think
you.
it takes a partnership, and I don't think that the administration really, they had decided back in January of eliminating senior services, but did not have an exit strategy or a plan to replace it. And I think that was very disingenuous to the seniors in this community. And I think by this many individuals simultaneously resigning speaks that.
That's your opinion, that's fine. So
That's not an opinion.
that's your
That's
opinion.
not an opinion. That's.
Yes, it is.
That's a clear observation.
Mayor Racy.
Yeah.
Mayor Racy.
Yes.
I don't think any of us were thrilled that they all decided to resign, but I do think that as a council, we should honor their wishes regardless if we like it or not. So that's why I supported it.
Anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
No.
No.
Opposed? 2 noes.
Miller
Yeah,
Take the roll call if you like.
it was very obvious. Did anybody else say no?
I just said no.
Yeah, just the 2 that I said, yeah.
Five E is to accept the resignation of Christy Powell from the Parks and Trails Committee.
Move to approve.
Support.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
5F is appointment of Councilwoman Kelly S. Skiff as second liaison to the Commission on Aging.
Move to approve.
Support.
Any questions?
Mr. Mayor and Honorable Kelly Skiff, you are my representative in the area, and for your appointment that you have just now read, it behooves the individual named and myself to speak out, as I was disgraced to see how many people just resigned. It's a shame from the Senior Citizens Commission that we could not talk to the individuals first, discuss the item, instead of deal out the agenda as you saw fit after. Most items are taken care of in a discussion before we delete. We go back 2 meetings, you had a budget meeting to discuss. It was the city manager's budget. Why did you not speak up then? You could have found some
Vic,
dollars then.
Vic, you need to
Yes,
talk,
sir.
it's a point of order. You need to talk about Kelly Skiff. If you don't have anything else, then
I'm not talking about Kelly Skiff, I'm talking
then
about
please sit down.
the council, sir.
No, this is about the appointment of Kelly Skiff. That's what
The
the
appointment
question
of
is.
Kelly Skiff, I said, you need to really review how many times she's voted for this, and if she was truly embraced in the seniors commission, then she should have talked about that and brought it to you, rather than saying she had a magic $5,000 out of a budget of which you never approved. Thank you very much.
Okay. Anybody else? I'm just going to say that it was never this council's intention to end the Commission on Aging, and we are still keeping the Commission on Aging. And we have two council members that are going to be added to that, and along with our city clerk that will be added to that. And we have advertised for people to that want to join the Commission on Aging. And we've had several applications for that. We had, in the past, we had a museum that had a person that was a full-time person, and that was eliminated, and we didn't have that any longer. And look how great the museum is now functioning. And they don't have a staff person there that's paid from the city. We're doing some great things. I think that this is still going to be a great thing. We've had a number of people that have joined the community centers already. We're providing a better service than what we've been able to provide in the past, unfortunately. And there is no money that we are going to be able to put into it. And that's way off subject, but I just wanted to address that. So, but we have every intention to have the Commission on Aging, and that is what we're proceeding to do. So, if it has to do with that, of Kelly.
Yes, Kelly and Mr. Webster came to our commission before, told us what was going on, and wanted to know, did we want to stay or did we want to leave? And we all discussed it, and we decided to leave. But when they told us that we could stay, what were we going to do? And what are the new commissioners going to do? By the way we understood it, we were supposed to go out, knock on doors, and tell people why you were getting rid of the commission. Now, what are these new people going to do?
We sent a letter out to everybody about that.
Yeah, I know you sent a letter out, so what's the point of having a new commission? Thank you.
There's going to be things that they're going to be discussing, but that's fine. And if you decide you would like to reapply, you're more than welcome to.
Through the chair, just a point of clarity, Councilwoman Skiff was not present at that meeting. It was myself,
Yeah.
Elise, and Lori. Yep, it was us three. She wasn't present, and never did we say that we wanted you to knock on doors to say that the commission was ending. You know, we said no. What we said in that meeting was that we wanted to work with you and figure out ways to reach out to the community and let them know what the new programs were and try and redevelop the senior program. That's what was said in that meeting. So what you're saying right now is not accurate. It's not.
So, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
1 no.
Item number 9 is the reappointment of Ed Queen and Catherine Sample to the Central Wayne County Sanitation Authority until June 2020.
Move to approve.
Support.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 6 is communications and reports. 6A is a child is missing alert program.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council.
Good evening, Chief.
Thank you. So what's before you is just a renewal for the Child is Missing program. We've actually used this program for a number of years. We just kind of started paying our fair share recently. What it is if we have a missing child or a missing elderly person, we can call up a child is missing right away. And they have, with technology, they've got a way of doing within a certain radius of where that person was missing and putting out phone calls for that person. It's actually helped us recover, I think it was an 8-year-old boy 2 springs ago. So it happens that quickly. I don't know if you folks have ever received one of the calls, but it's very beneficial to us. And, if it could save one kid, certainly worth the money. So it's just more informational than anything.
Any questions?
Yes. So when you say they put forth calls within a radius, is that landlines or does that include cell phones
So
too?
they're working on that, sir. When they first started a few years ago, it's landlines only, but they're working on incorporating cell phones, and their next step is a texting thing. So, you know, next summer when I come before you, I would say that there'll be a next step ahead in that technology. And I will add, I had to step out to deal with some flooding issues on the roads, and citizen Mr. Amos volunteered to pay this $200 actually.
Just a question. Surrounding communities, how many, do you know of any of our
I can't
bordering
speak to that
communities?
exactly. I think nearly every agency that's nearby uses it, yes.
Please come up to the podium.
I just wondered if that goes out to the cell phones like the other Amber Alerts do,
So
or it's included?
Sure. So I'm glad you asked. The Amber Alerts, the criteria for setting an Amber Alert is pretty high. Like, for instance, a child missing for, 15 minutes or something, unless there were some really unusual circumstances, we couldn't do it. There's a lot of high requirements, but a child is missing, pretty much we can just call them and they'll do it for us. But again, with the cell phones, they're working on that technology. It's a geographic area from where it's been missing, where the child was missing or the elderly person, and whether the cell phones are involved or not. It just kind of depends on how far the technology has gone.
Any other questions? Okay.
And 6B is Crime Stoppers of Michigan.
Sure. So this is, I'm sure most of you folks are familiar with Crime Stoppers. It's a $400 donation to their program. What Crime Stoppers helps us with is if there's a crime in our community, typically a major or violent crime, they'll assist us by working with local news to get it on the news. They'll print up posters for us, door hangers, help distribute them. I think the most recent time we used them was that vandalism over at New Hope Church. They've helped us out with homicides and things like that, and they'll get us this printed material by the end of the day. So they're very helpful. We've gotten good tips. There was a sexual assault that was solved through Crime Stoppers, as an example.
Okay. Any other questions? No. Okay. Thank you.
Item number 7 is general items. 7A being approval of the engagement letter from Auditor Alan C. Young and Associates.
Motion to approve.
Ms. Sample, could you come forward? Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Could you just give us a little overview of what this is?
Yeah, this is an engagement letter with our auditors, LNC Young and Associates. We've been using them for a few years, and their engagement letter is for the same price that they charged us last year, so there's no increase. And we've been really happy working with them, so we'd like to do this.
Okay. Any questions from the council? Mr. Amos?
Evening, Mayor, City Council. I'm just curious, maybe I get a little more clarification. We hired this young lady a few years ago with the recommendation of Plant Moran. And I understood at that time Plant Moran was going to hang around long enough till she became familiar with the job. And now I see that, and I also thought that Plant Moran conducted our yearly audits, or
they can't
every
because of
3 or
law.
4 month audit, because they're the leading one of the leading financial institutes in Michigan. And it's kind of a little disturbing to me that we're paying an additional $36,000 for this audit.
Yeah, you can't have somebody audit their own numbers. So this is for the company that comes in to audit what they're doing in Plant Moran.
The auditor?
Yes.
Yeah, we have outside companies
They're
that
auditing.
come in and audit us.
It's
Other
law.
companies in other cities do that too.
Thank you.
Mayor Reese,
Yes.
through the chair, I'd like to ask, the auditors provide council members and employees, I assume, with a questionnaire. Do we ever get any collaborative results or information regarding those questionnaires that are required by us to provide?
No, we don't get anything back. If they,
Where does that information go?
that goes to the auditors to point them in a direction where they might want to look,
Okay,
if there was anything.
okay. Why do they not at least send us a letter of their findings or confirmation of acknowledgement of the questionnaires?
That's not part of what they do. We could ask them to, though.
I mean, they're asking for this questionnaire. You're just indicating to me that they do follow up on them, but we have no idea where that follow-up is.
Yeah, you do. It's the audit. They give you the findings of the audit, and they tell you the findings of the audit, and that's what that they tell you. If they found something, they would tell you in the audit. That's what that is.
The questionnaire is not questioning the audit itself.
The questionnaire is looking at internal controls, and that's part of the audit.
So for example, if I may, through the chair, if you read the audit from front to back very carefully, you will find that they do point out some things that the city needs to improve on. So for instance, I don't know, because I don't see certainly your questionnaires. They go right to, Katie sends them right to the auditor, because I think that's the right thing to do. If you have concerns, they go right to them. So I wouldn't know necessarily what anybody put in there as far as specifics, but I can tell you that one of the things several years ago is that when I sign all of the receipts, I have to go through everything, make sure everything's signed after it's coded. They did say that, put it in a certain location, make sure it's here, and also make sure the director signs in a certain location and things like that. And so, the next year I paid attention to that, and they talked about how that was corrected. So they do. If you read it very closely, I know it's a lot of pages to read, but it does give you a lot of insight into the things that we're improving upon or where we actually do need to improve upon. And so that information, you would only know if that information is in the audit, to be honest with you, because it's between yourselves and the auditor based on whatever it is that you put into your report.
Is there any way of getting a report back where it provides the recommendations that have been indicated to you to improve the best practices?
They're in the audit.
But they're not separate. They're all kind of intertwined.
Yeah.
With all the,
It's difficult to not intertwine them because they all have to do with a subject matter. So when you look through the index and where it talks about, say, we had an issue, for instance, where we had counterfeit money coming into the city from people. And so Katie made the correction when we found it and identified it, and she got counterfeit pens for everybody, correct, Katie? And then they were able to check it if it looked different or didn't look right. And then I think that, I don't know if that was in the last one, but in this one, I know certainly in my report, I put that, we put the indicator in there that when money comes in, now we do have an ability to utilize that pen in that process to assure if something looks funny, it probably is, and we can utilize that pen to make sure it's not counterfeit.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 7B is the approval of a tentative agreement with the Technical Professional and Office Workers Association of Michigan, TPOM.
Move to approve.
Support.
City Manager? Anything you want to say on it? Okay. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 7C is approval of the deaccession list from the Wayne Historical Commission.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions? Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 7D is approval of the exercising the City of Wayne's right of first refusal for the purchase of 4 properties from the 2019 tax foreclosed properties from Wayne County.
Move to approve.
Support.
Ms. Goen?
Good evening again. It's that time of year. Wayne County did come out with their list of foreclosed properties. It's sad to see homes on the list, but when I came in 2016 and we had 20 to 30 homes, there are actually 4, and we had a couple of vacant properties. I did provide you with the whole list. There are 4 homes. Once again, this year, we will be using HP Snap. FPJ Investments, Mr. Jim Budziak is here with us this evening. They will be rehabbing the homes. The council has had the opportunity this year to view some of the homes. I'll give you an example. There's a home in Michigan, just before Kurt's Caps, the yellow house there next to the doctor's office. I actually considered buying it for myself for a while. It's beautiful. It sold for, I believe, $130,000 or $140,000. So the rehabbing of these homes is actually causing the value of our homes to go up. At the end of each year, I'll provide you with the list, and like I did last year, of what the homes were sold for, so you have an idea. We have 4 homes before us this evening. The price that we will charge to the company is more than this, and that would come to you before because it's going to cover this year's taxes, and then they will pay a per property fee, which will come to you at another meeting after the gentlemen select the homes. And I can take any questions.
Any questions from the council? Come forward, please.
Nancy Pride, where are the other 3 houses? We've had a vacant home on our street for a long time. I was just wondering, on Courier.
I don't know what other 3 homes you're referring to.
It has to go through the process with the county.
Oh, you want to know the addresses of the 4? I didn't give any of them, but I can give them all. It's 3630 Barber, 4183 Grace, 4344 Carnegie, and 5024 Gloria. And those are a part of the council packet, that item, if you didn't get that number.
Any other questions? I just want to say this has been a great success for our city. I don't even know how many years it's been since Mr. Budziak came here and we started this. It's been quite a while. We've done probably over 60-plus homes over the time period in the community, and we've made those homes into not rentable homes, but actually owner-occupied, and we've been increasing the property values, and we're seeing that now. I think that's part of the reason why we're seeing our property values now increasing. So I think this has been great, and I want to thank you, Mr. Budziak, for, participating in that, working with us. You came to us, that was my first term, I think, that you came here, and it's been a while, but it's been definitely a success, and it's been a great program for our community, and it's been a home run, so thank you.
We will be recommending both companies again this year at the next meeting.
Okay, awesome. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 7E is approval of agreement between the Wayne Supervisors Union and International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, IBEW, Local 58, as their sole and exclusive bargaining agent.
Move to approve. Support.
City manager?
Sure, I'll just give a brief update, just to make sure there's no questions. The supervisors group, which is made up of 5 employees currently, does not have representation from a business agent. So, for example, Patrol Officers Association of Michigan, Command Officers Association of Michigan. They would like to have council approve, and they all agreed, and they signed letters, to have International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 58, as the sole exclusive bargaining agent for the purpose of establishing wages, salaries, hours, and other conditions of employment for all hourly rated supervisors employed by the city of Wayne. And so they basically asked for this. I see no issues with this whatsoever, and respectfully asked council to approve.
Okay. Any other questions? Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 8, administration reports.
Through the chair, I'm going to have Ed Queen come up, and he's going to just provide an overview briefly about the Parks and Trails cleanup. We did the last summer cleanup, spring-summer cleanup on Saturday at Forest Park, and I thought it'd be a great idea, because we're pushing a lot on Facebook, but not everybody is on Facebook, about a lot of the progress, and Ed's going to provide an overview and answer any questions you may have regarding that.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. Just like Lisa said, just an overview. The Parks and Trails Committee, formation of the committee was in July of 2018. Back then, we had 9 members, 2 staff, and 1 council liaison. Our first meeting was September of 2018, which started us off with some minor projects, which included the pavilion painting right after we had all the 6 of the pavilions roofed. Some trash and compost pickup and park sign painting was just some minor ones in the fall of 2018 to get us started. As the committee met and with 6 months of planning, we embarked on our journey, and it's been a nice journey because the parks are starting to look a lot nicer. We started with the 2019 Parks and Trails cleanup schedule. That started on May 4th with Seroptimus Park being the first park that we had on our new schedule. Other locations included Washington Trail, Avondale, Waltz, Taft, and Forest Parks. With those events that we had with the volunteer numbers, they varied throughout the season, so we were approximately getting 3 to 4 volunteers from the community at each event. 4 of the committee members were involved, and then the other volunteers included members of the council, which we've seen many of you there at either one or most of the events, city staff from the various departments that showed up as well, fire, police department, and the DPW, as well as other departments, and city directors. So that's what comprised most of the volunteers that had shown up throughout the season. Some of the tasks that were completed throughout the season, we could only, with the volunteers, do certain tasks. We couldn't have them doing a lot of the things that required maybe some equipment or more heavy machinery that we used from the DPW. So some of those things, and they're all the same throughout the parks. You start to have the same things pattern happening, which led to trash and compost cleanups. So a lot of trash was bagged and compost. Park sign painting, weeding around the signs, cleaning the playground equipment, park bench and picnic table repairs and painting, tree trimming and removals, and split rail fence repairs were achieved at a majority of these parks that have those things in them. It takes a lot of effort with the volunteers and the community, as well as all the staff. And for any volunteer event, there's always a cost involved, and I wanted to share that with you as well, because the cost and the manpower on the end from the DPW department that is needed in addition to all the volunteer hours was approximately $7,000, and that was for manpower, equipment, and materials. So a lot of the extra work behind the scenes that you don't see a lot of times just to get ready for these events. It takes a lot from our department as well, and dollars. But I will say that it was money that was well spent because the parks look great. They're starting to look a lot cleaner. Adding to our investment were the dollars that we received from the Wayne County Millage and the Recreation Foundation, which allowed us to have the new softball material, which actually made the parks look even nicer, installed under the play structures in the following parks. So that just happened. Our contractor came in on Friday, starting with Schaefer and Seroptimus Park. Avondale was completed, Forest, Gaudy, we made sure that was one of them because we have the concerts that are starting tomorrow. Civitan and Rotary 1. The installation of the softball is still needed at 4 other parks, Taft, DeMario, and Sioux Wynn. Those ones have been prepped and they're ready to go, so our contractor will be back in at the end of this week or the beginning of next week, weather permitting, to finish the installation of those. Of the 3 parks, Taft, DeMario, and Sioux Wynn, Atwood is one of the ones that's slated to have the softball material put in, but because we're looking at other options now with the grant, possible grant dollars to remove and have a new structure put in, we didn't feel it was a good idea to have the softball material put into the park and then have to remove it just to demolish and rebuild a new play structure. So we have worked with our contractor. We just talked to him today and we wanted to find out what our options were if he could hold on to the material for us. So he's working with us. We will pay him for everything that will be completed of this during this season, and he will hold on to the Atwood material for us, and then when we're ready for it, He'll come in next season and be able to blow it in rather than us just storing it in a pile in our yard and having to provide extra labor to put that in. It's very labor intensive trying to get all that material, as we found out when we did Rotary 2. It's a lot easier just to have the material blown right in, so it's a matter of like an hour for them to get it in. Currently, we have, of the Parks and Trails Committee, we currently have 4 committee members out of the 9 that had originally started with us. Some have stepped down from their positions because they had some other things going in their lives that maybe they couldn't be a committee member at this time. So we currently have the 4 committee members, 2 staff, and the 1 council liaison. So it was very brief with my presentation here. And in closing, I just wanted to say that the park cleanups has been a worthwhile event. A lot of volunteer hours are spent making the parks look great, and so I hope to see more volunteers and community involvement in the upcoming season. We do have some plans to already do probably one fall cleanup in September and one in October. And then we'll just meet probably, we're going to take a little break on meeting. We'll meet again in the springtime to get prepared for the next season coming up to do some more parks and trails cleanups. So, does anybody have any questions?
Mayor Racy, through the chair. Very good presentation. You know, this is an investment in our community. You know, a couple things that come to my mind is going forward, the sustainability of what the efforts that you have put into these parks. How many parks have you actually been able to address? How many are left? And you also pointed out the cost factor that's already been of that investment of $7,000, which I think is minimal compared to the results that we're seeing here. Just a couple of those things. Oh, one other thing is also, I see a lot of focus just on softball. There's other sports activities could we look at for various parks to kind of diversify some of that?
Right. Well, currently, right now, we have the, Forest Park is one of the highlights as well because we had the baseball fields done last year. And but as far as for anything else, the amount of manpower and time that it takes to, like I said, to be able to do one of these events, I'm using my manpower and the resources I have where I really should be doing other, not focused on parks 100%. We've done a lot more park work than we ever had this year just to kind of help the volunteers and the committee to try to get that off the ground. But it's going to require a lot more volunteers and that community involvement. Yes, I can always divert my manpower, but is it the wisest thing to do? Not always. We have a lot of other tree trimmings, removals, all sorts of things on our list of concrete repair, catch basin cleaning, things of that nature to take care of that is actually DPW work. But at this time, we don't mind entertaining that because it does make the parks look good. The softball part of it, we already knew that we're going to, in the future, we'll just use some dollars probably from the county millages to keep the softball at the levels that it's supposed to be. You're talking, we've been putting in 12 inches in each of those parks. So the initial, to get it back to where it should be, did cost some dollars just to get it in. I think it was $40,000 just for all that softball for all the parks. Going forward, hopefully that we're able to kind of add just a smaller layer in each of them, as we stay on it. At the same time, we do plan on using some of those millage dollars. We will find other things that the parks require to enhance them and make them a lot nicer for people to visit.
Through the chair, another question is, you spoke about grants a little bit there, where it would be able to help assist with the ballpark there. Is the committee tallying their hours, et cetera, and be able to go further and be a 501c, be a nonprofit organization separately entity? Is that on the realm?
No, it isn't. Like I said, we have we're down to 4 committee members right now. And so a lot of the volunteer efforts, I was explaining, we had 3 to 4 volunteers from the community. So a lot of the other work is being done by the committee or staff personnel. So moving forward, there isn't a lot of help just yet. We're hoping that maybe that some people will come, forward and want to assist in volunteering. But that's what it's going to take to even move forward to even try to do some other things like,
So the incentive.
bigger events.
Through the chair. So the incentive would be that we could be able to apply for more grants for our park system if we got more volunteers to be more involved with the Parks and Trails Committee.
I'm sure it's something we could look at, but with any grant, even the small, even the small grants that we get from the county currently, the amount of time and manpower that it takes just to run those grants, we've gotten really good at them because we've been doing them for the last 3 years, getting caught up with grants from the county that were just from past administration, they, just changing hands and getting back flowing with those. Well, now we're caught up with all those grants that we currently had from the county. But moving forward, so we're okay with that small grant because we will find projects to do in the parks to enhance them. But when you continually get those grants, it's a lot of work on our end to just even do a grant, getting the contracts drawn up and everything else. And again, because we're DPW, we're not, mainly,
Not your realm.
not our realm. We can do it, and we have been, in addition to all our other work, but there is a lot of effort that takes place even with any grant that you receive. So they have to be large a lot of times, like the one we got for the baseball fields, over $100,000 or more to make it, for our time to be involved in those types of grants.
I think this is a very good start. My concern is what is the sustainability of it, So that's what I'm kind of hoping that, this can expand more. And you were just there to assist. It's not your primary job, DPW, and I get that. And your assistant's been very helpful in this matter. Thanks.
You're welcome.
We're not taking questions from the audience. This is a report where you weren't even supposed to be answering questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. Very good.
But, so I allowed you to go ahead and do that.
All right, thank you. Sorry about that.
Through the chair, I do want to name the four members because they did work very hard this summer. Eric Clareman is a member of the committee, and Eric's entire family participated in every single cleanup, including the Main Street cleanup, and Eric and Sarah were also at the community build. So that was a full family effort, and I know that they do clean parks on their own time too. So thank you. Alfred Brock also does clean his own park over in Schaefer, and he did show up as well. Mr. Jayska, Bill Jayska, and he has been to almost all of the cleanups in Main Street cleanup, and Kathy Ann, you've been at them too, so thank you so much for your efforts. It's a lot of hard work on those hot days, but we survived, so thank you. And Michelle Nedslick is also a member of the committee, has been very active. And I want you to know that, there, and Councilman Webster, I'm so sorry, I don't mean to leave you out as the liaison, and also who has been at the cleanup efforts and the community build and Main Street as well. I guess the one thing I just want to comment on is, we have been able to get quite a few grants, electrical upgrades to Gowdy, softball for anybody. I know you probably hear softball, whatever. Softball is a brand of mulch that is, when the kids, if you do fall, you bounce a little bit more on it. And yeah, it's a little much safer. We have used funding to put roofs on all the pavilions. A lot in the city through grants. The kayak launch was through a grant. The ball fields were through a grant. Quite a few things were through the grant process, and we still have quite a bit more that we're trying for. I guess the issue is that while I would like to see a 501c3, I really don't. We've talked about it in the committee, but the issue is that there is nobody that right now that it's a lot of work to handle a 501c3. It's a lot of paperwork, it's a lot of money management, it's a lot of reconciliation. It's things that I would recommend that the city staff not actually do because of the fact that you have to go through certain auditing processes and things like that. And so I really don't know right now. I mean, we started with a lot of quite a few members, but a lot of them came back and said, look, I'd love to do more. I just can't. I have kids, I have family, I have this, and the group that stuck it out, the 4 that are still left, and we do have applications out for members. It's time and it's commitment just to do what we're doing right now. The numbers that Ed talked about with regards to volunteers, I will tell you, to be honest with you, it was kind of depressing in some senses because it was the same people every single weekend. Not that we don't appreciate them, but we could have used a lot more help. And I think people just have lives, or they just, volunteering is just really not up their alley. I mean, being outside in that hot weather and the bugs and in the weeds and things like that. Last weekend I had a poison ivy scare again. But found the right formulas to make sure I don't. As Tom saw, I was digging in the weeds, literally, with Mr. Jaska. So I didn't end up getting it, thank goodness. But, it's not something that everybody prefers. It's a different world. It's a different time. And I have to commend these members and the people who did come out and the staff, and because, they had Saturdays, they had lives, but boy, did they put in the time, and some of the council members up here as well. It's a lot of work, and I'll never forget, not to go into it, but I'll never forget the cleanup off the trail behind Senior Towers, the extra effort we put in to remove, and Councilman Wagner, you were there, and to remove grocery carts from the woods and dressers and debris and garbage, and we were in bugs and it was awful. But you do it because you have the heart and you care about the community. You want to see things, you want to see good things happen. So I think that, we're doing everything we possibly can. I don't think you're negating that, certainly. I just think that we could certainly use a little bit more help. We could certainly use more volunteers. I just don't see them knocking down the doors to do something like this. But I will tell you that these 4 individuals on the committee really, really stepped up and did the hardcore work this summer. And I think we all talked about how we drove past the parks. We helped to improve like 15 times just because it was fun to drive by and see all the wonderful things that have happened. Avondale is pictured on the screen right there. That's one of the parks that we cleaned, and that's the one that you weeded, and excessive weeds, and that's the result with the new softball. I mean, they're beautiful. Seroptimist, I mean, I literally almost had tears when I saw it with the way that park looks. So, but I just want to thank you guys. I really enjoyed getting to know, and the people that came out this summer. It was a lot of fun. The workers had fun. We had a lot of laughs. We sweat a lot. We feel accomplished. So, sorry, I had to pull a John and go over my 3 minutes. But thank you for everybody for all of your help.
Thank you, Lisa.
You bet. You're welcome. And then I'm going to have Chief Strong come up because I know there's been a lot of questions about dispatch. I just wanted to give him a brief update to you about dispatch since it's been started since July 1, Chief. Is that correct?
Thank you. So just to give a brief overview, so we moved to a central dispatch with Dearborn on July 1st. Before that, we were in a central dispatch located at Westland, and that was Westland, Wayne, Garden City, and Inkster. So all 4 of those agencies moved to Dearborn. Dearborn also covers dispatching for Melvindale. So it's all agencies there. We've been doing it since July 1st. It's been going quite well. I listen to the radio traffic in my office, and it's pretty much just like it was before. The dispatchers are squared away. They actually have 37 dispatchers in the dispatch center. I know many of you toured the dispatch center. With the larger size and more agencies, they're able to kind of run a dispatch center like it's supposed to be. Everyone has their own job. One person just answers 911 calls. One person dispatches fire trucks. One person dispatches police officers. One person's queries people through the computer system for us. So it's very professional. They have a supervisor assigned just to the dispatch center, 24/7, 365 days a year. So if we have a problem, we can contact them and get the problem solved. I've spoken to officers and command officers. They're very happy with it. Everybody's professional and squared away. And of course, as you folks know, we're saving money. We're saving over $2,000 a month in the city.
Thank you.
Questions? Oh, all right. Thank you.
Thanks for the update.
Mr. Mills, did you have a sesquicentennial minute update?
Good evening again. Tonight's sesquicentennial minute is on Wayne's first industry, the Proudian Glass Carriage Company. Prouty and Glass Company was organized in Detroit in 1881 and moved to Wayne in 1888. The company was founded by Fayette Prouty, his son William, immigrants from Ontario, Canada, who were groceries at the Prouty and Son General Store in the city of Detroit, and by Fayette's son-in-law, obviously William's brother-in-law, carriage maker John S. Glass Jr., who had married Eugenia M. Prouty in 1879. The Prouty family and John Glass are buried in Glenwood Cemetery and will be one of the Wayne Historical Society's featured interments during the Sunday, October 6, 2019, 6th Annual Cemetery Walk. The Prouty and Glass Carriage Company factory was on Sophia, now Elizabeth Street, on the northwest corner of the Michigan Central Railroad crossing, which is now part of the Wayne Industries complex. By the spring of 1889, the company was employing about 50 men with a weekly payroll around $500. Within a few years, the factory was enlarged and operations expanded until 150 men were employed, and the weekly payroll rose to $1,500. The company rose to become one of the largest manufacturers of sleighs and the largest builder of carriages in the country. The Wayne Historical Museum proudly displays an 1890s Prouty and Glass sleigh and 2 P&G carriages. In 1916, the 80,000 square foot carriage factory was sold to the Haroon Motor Car Company for $40,000 and was converted to the paint and upholstery departments for that company. During its existence, the Prouty and Glass Carriage Company was very civic-minded, with a P&G cornet band giving concerts in the park. If still in existence, they could open tomorrow night in Gowdy Park for Major Woody. A picture of the band is in the hallway. There's other pictures about Prouty Glass and that too on the display in the hallway here. Additionally, the whole town joined in the company excursions to Boblo and Sugar Islands. And lastly, Prouty and Glass sponsored their annual Carriage Makers Ball, which was a highlight of the winter entertainment season. Thank you.
Thank you.
And just to remind everybody, we do have Parks and Trails applications online, and we do have Commission on Aging applications online or in the clerk's office. That'll conclude my report this evening.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Move the agenda.
Public comments for matters not on the agenda. Citizens are to limit their comments or requests to 3 minutes. The City Council asks that if you do have a question or concern, to bring it to the attention of the appropriate departments whenever possible. If you feel the matter has not been resolved satisfactorily, you are encouraged to bring it to the attention of the city manager, and if still not resolved satisfactorily, to the mayor and to the City Council. The mayor, the City Council, and the department heads may not respond to the questions at the meeting, but will respond by the next City Council meeting or as soon as possible once they have looked into the matter.
Okay, Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Manager, and Council and Attorney. In a minute since I've been here, I wasn't used to the new protocols of everything. But I just wanted to stop in and give a little update over the weekend. We did Cruising US 12 in beautiful downtown Wayne. And I felt it was a success for our city and all the businesses in the city. A lot of great people, a lot of great cars, a lot of good things happening, and hopefully a lot more good things to come. A lot of learning to do and a lot of things to get better. But we feel good in the direction that it's going on, and we hope to continue doing the best we can for the city and the event and for everyone involved. Had a good little sit down with the chief, addressed some concerns, and got some things that we're going to take care of for next year to make everything better. Just like learning how to walk, you got to fall and clean up your mistakes, and that's what we're doing with this. But overall, it was a beautiful day in Wayne, and we liked it. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Got a lot of great positive feedback, and look forward to seeing you all next year.
Thank you, Scott. I think, Vern?
Evening again, Mayor, City Council. My name's Vern Amos, and I live on Stellwagen. I guess I'll be the devil's advocate on Parks and Trails. Last year, I committed to every weekend helping to clean up the parks and trails, including the river. I did not see a whole lot of council members or department heads at all last year. And we could not get not one single dime from DPW to have a worker come out and support us on a weekend. I just would like to know if we can afford $7,000 this year, why can't we have one Saturday a month for the recycling center that a lot of people utilize also? That was not my first intent for coming to this meeting tonight. My intent was to say that I am still on the neighborhood patrol, and we are still looking for volunteers to help out in that situation. I read constantly from day to day about people's bicycles being stolen, cars being broken into, and this is going to continue because people don't, I guess they get home from work and they're in a hurry to get in the air-conditioned home or whatever, and on a given night, I can find 35 to 40 bicycles, tricycles, scooters, laying in front yards and on the public sidewalk. The other night, I was out and I witnessed at least 20 passenger and driver's side windows completely down in the vehicles. So I would just ask that the homeowners be a little more cautious about what they leave laying around. We're not the small community that we used to be 30 years ago. There's a lot of bad people out there that like to take advantage of innocent people. With that, I guess I'll close.
Thank you. Ms. Burgess?
My name is Martha Burgess. I just wondered if we could have an update on the 2 parks that were sold. Is there going to be a groundbreaking? Are they ours, or did the sale go through? We haven't heard anything about what's going on. Thank you.
Ms. Pride?
I'm sorry I was late this evening, but I tried to go down Wayne Road coming north, and the railroad trestle was flooded. And all of us were turning and going the other direction, and then Forest was also flooded by the apartments. I made it to 2nd Street, which was a lot better. I missed the 2 gentlemen that were here to finalize whatever it was they were doing. I wished I was here a little bit earlier, but I wasn't. One of the things that kind of bothers me is the note passing. Writing notes, when someone doesn't understand something, you should have talked to him and asked him to explain softball, okay? Instead of having a little joke over here. That really irritates me. You were laughing. You thought it was hysterical that he didn't know. And I didn't find that funny at all. I think that's undergrading the ability of our council. Next time, you ask him to explain softball, okay? And it's all solved. Nobody gets embarrassed. I want to know why we are appointing people that already have a job to fill positions that were vacated by people who obviously were upset with what happened to them. I personally won't call you. I won't talk to anybody, and I'm a senior citizen that has taken these people's jobs. I won't. I think it's an insult to hire within yourself. You're not learning anything if you're all within yourself. All of you are friends, except for a few that don't really agree with you, and then they're not friends anymore. I want to know why our cable company, young man that's been running that, has making $36,000 a year as far as I remember. It has not improved one iota. You have a picture up there of an eagle that has so many pixels in it, you can hardly tell it's an eagle. It's been copied and recopied and overcopied. Fix it. I turned to Westlands cable, and it is beautiful, sharp, crisp. This young man here, who's making all these beautiful presentations here, should be on cable. and give us updates of our history of the city of Wayne instead of here. I can't record this. My channel is AT&T 99. I can't record this. If I wanted to, I can't. When are the drains, and when have the drains? My street was flooded. Courier, right by Biddle. When are our drains being checked before we have the monsoon rains? I didn't even try to go down past my John Street because that habitually is flooded.
Okay, your time is up, I'm sorry.
Okay. I just want you to, you're never going to be a family, but I think it's rude to make fun of somebody. I'm sorry.
Kathy?
Kathy Rockwell, Wayne. I had a lot of people stop and ask me what's going on with the parks, like Mrs. Burgess asked. I did call
With the what? I'm sorry.
the parks. It was supposed to be sold. I did talk to Colliers today. I've been going to call for a long time or ask you people, but there was other important things come up. And they said that the park is, the building is, of the parks, the houses is not going to happen, that the contract is out, and that there will be no building of the parks. And we expected that groundbreaking to be in the spring, so they could put the sewers in, and then I talked to the gentleman that was going to buy the parks, Mr. Schaefer, and he's not interested in going through with that. And why have you people known this and not told us?
Because
How
that's
long
not-
have you
I'm so-
known?
I'm sorry, but that's not true.
Well, I talked to the Colliers, they're not going to
doesn't
tell
mean-
me the
that does-
truth, they're going to lie to me?
What my understanding is that working with the attorneys currently, between Mr. Schaefer and our attorneys, and that's where it's at.
No.
Colliers has nothing to do with it at this point. This is between attorneys, has nothing to do with the Colliers. I don't know why you're talking to Colliers.
Well, he said that Mr. Schaefer had told them, and I'm not going to give you his name because I told him I wouldn't. If I have to at some point, I will.
Well, in the
but
future,
he's-
I'd recommend that you contact the city clerk's office. They can help you.
Contact who?
Contact the city clerk's office. They can get information for you. I mean, a lot of these questions that happen here are questions that should be asked outside the meeting that doesn't have to come to this. I mean, we read every meeting to talk to people first before we escalate at this, and you could have your answer a week ago.
Well, I wasn't able.
So, okay.
I get tired of you people not telling us anything that's happening in the city. We got to find it out on our own.
Just not true. Mark?
Thanks, John. Just got a question with the cruise on the avenue. I know that the state police, the Wayne County Sheriff, and our own police department patrols, do we get charged for the state coming in the county? So no tax dollars and nothing's coming out of our fund or the police department's?
Not for them.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because I know they were out there. I just want to make sure that nothing's coming out of our general fund and especially our police department's budget.
Yeah.
So, appreciate it.
You're welcome. Anybody else? We'll go ahead and move the agenda.
One more.
Sorry.
Now that the summer cleanup season's done for the parks, I just want to ask everybody to go out and enjoy the parks. There's a lot of good parks out there. And one thing I learned from Boy Scouts that I wish more people would do is pick up a piece of trash or two. Just toss it, make the place a little bit better when you leave than when you got there. It's a real simple thing, and if a lot more people pitched in with that, it'd be a lot less work. Also, thank you everybody who helped clean up after the car cruise. Car cruise is a great event, but there was a lot of trash left behind. And a lot of people pitched in to help with that, especially Mr. Jaski and his family. Thanks.
You already spoke. I'm sorry, Ms. Vern. Vic?
How you doing, John? Beautiful picture up there. And I wish that all the people that worked on the trails committee. I'm talking about the citizens. I'm not talking about elected officials. They can have their promo name later on. But I think we as citizens are going to enjoy these parks, and they've done a great job on them, that we ought to pay some recognition to these, not employees, volunteers. You can't fire a volunteer. You can fire some other people, but you can't fire a volunteer, and they're pretty hard to find, as goes with the aging group. There's one thing I just saw up here, and you mentioned something. What we're missing here, but we got to make it beautiful, put a little wood rack around it, is a garbage can. We're missing one thing, is the garbage can. Everybody can pick up a piece of garbage and throw it away. Now, with our waste management, let's put some garbage cans in the area, and we will be proactive as citizens. Pick up the trash and throw it there. And we want to keep our city good, so let's put a decorative, spray paint one of our old trash cans and just put it up there, because I'll be glad to load it up with just trash, okay? And I'm sure Vern, if he gets anybody coming from another city deciding to throw trash in there, you will hear about it, and you'll hear it from me, and I will address the police department about putting wrong garbage in the wrong can. And you have a great evening. Okay, John?
Thank you.
Item number 9 is items for next agenda.
Move the agenda.
Moving on to item 10, consent calendar. Under the consent calendar, this meeting is Wayne Historical, Commission minutes of July 8th, 2019, Wayne Planning Commission minutes of June 11th, 2019, and Wayne Downtown Development Authority minutes of June 12th, 2019.
Wish of council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Comments from members of the city council.
Councilwoman Skiff,
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Councilman Webster.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to remind everyone, we're in for a couple hot days coming up, so just stay hydrated. You see your mailman out, throw him a bottle of water, maybe a popsicle, something, any other public workers you see out. We do have some cooling centers. Wayne PD Lobby is open 24 hours a day. City Hall is open Tuesday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Wayne Library is open Tuesday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., Friday through Saturday, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Hype is open Tuesday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., Saturday, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Also, we do have a flash flood watch effective till 10:45 tonight, so on your way home, just be careful. With that, I will pass.
Councilman Miller.
Thank you, Mayor Racy. Just to piggyback on Councilman's comments about the typical degree temperatures that we're expecting, I just wanted to advise and remind everybody to have those things at the house in case our power goes out. Flashlights, just the basic needs to get you through until the power goes back on. Secondarily, please don't hesitate to not check in on the elderly in your community. They may not be always aware of what's going on and not necessarily have the ability always to be able to protect themselves or get the needs that they need. I also want to recognize the residents, the employees, the businesses, for everything really that you do in this community, your resilience amongst the challenges that this community continuously faces. If it's not after a US 12 cruise picking up the litter, or if it's making the investment in your homes that you're doing, or the businesses that are putting new facets on their buildings, this all does really mean a lot. for all of us, for this community. So, you know, I can't say enough, thank you, okay? Thank you for your resilience in taking pride in this community. And I think, you know, we gotta not forget that. We're here together. We need to continue to work together in spite of our challenges and our disagreements. We are family. We are a community. And we are a diverse community. And for us to be successful, we need to continue and join with the people that are doing it today. I think, you know, that's the kind of thing. The volunteerism has waned. And for whatever matter of reasons, we need to regroup and reiterate the importance of why we are that seal. We are all part of that seal. So with that, I'll pass.
Councilman Dowd.
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to thank the volunteers for the parks. It's fantastic what has occurred this year, and seeing Eric's face, I think, on every post for every. I think you're the photo for it, generally speaking, but more so, I mean, the efforts of the staff and the employees and everybody that pitched in together. It's heartwarming. It really is. I know I've said this before, but to hear the numbers and the detail that Mr. Queen put together in support of the team, and to get through a hard, warm, wet, buggy season, I commend everybody. I wish I could be there and do it right by your side. Different year, different time, I would be. Also, just want to point out, I remember growing up and coming to downtown Wayne, and Kresge's had a presence, and the downtown had a presence, and you shut Michigan Avenue down and had fun. And I got to say, the US 12 or the cruise is the closest thing that I've seen since I was a young guy trying to get upstairs to Kresge's in the toy department. And last thing I'm going to say is my favorite car was the pre-war Mercury that was parked on westbound Michigan Avenue.
You were supposed to say Mustang.
I'm sorry, the Ford was nice, but.
Councilman Wagner.
Thank you. Just again, want to reiterate, thank you to all the volunteers who have worked on our parks. It was a hot one this last Saturday, but we got it done. Also, the US 12 cruise, I drove through there a few times. It was great. My favorite car was a mint condition Ford Galaxy. I thought that was really cool. I'm not knowledgeable enough to know what year. I would assuming from the early 60s. I am seeing in here in the Wayne Historic Commission that there is the possibility to bid on one of only two 1919 Haroon automobiles that are left in the world. What a wonderful thing that would be to bring that back to Wayne. It looks, now the city has no money for this, unfortunately. But this looks like the commission has 6,000. I don't know, I plan on calling some people saying that I'll pledge a little bit to that. It'd be great if we could get people from this community to see if they could pledge a little bit of money to get that automobile, bring that home here to Wayne where it was made 100 years ago. With that, I'll pass.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Just a real quick thank you to the Parks and Rec Committee, and I want to thank everybody because it wasn't, the volunteers on the committee were outstanding, I agree. But so did a lot of staff step up and volunteer their time. They weren't getting paid to go out there and do the work. And there was a lot of people there that put their hand into it, and we got a lot of work accomplished. I was proud to do a couple hours here and there when I could. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Give a few things. The cruise was exceptional this year. It was good to see this first year that it was done solely by Wayne, and we saw what we have coming into the city, and I'm excited to have the Gochai brothers working on it and trying to build this into something more than it has, and having an actual point person to make this a bigger success in our community. Something we've needed to have happen for a long time, and I think that's going to be great event next year, and looking forward to it. And I want to thank the DPW for all their work on working with the softball stuff. It's something I've been talking about with the council for a number of years, and it's a good positive step in the right direction, and getting the park safer again for our kids. I mean, that's just a bare minimum to make sure that the kids have a safe playground environment, and I'm think that that's just incredible that we're able to finally do that, and it's very noticeable. It's one of those things that you definitely see a difference. I've had people already mention to me that it's been noticed and appreciated, but it is something that really is benefiting our younger residents and the kids in the community, which a lot of times gets forgotten about. I mean, it's all the adults talking, and I think it's very good that we're able to give back and do something for the young families in our community. It does make a difference, and the number of $7,000 is pretty incredible of the amount of work we were able to do with $7,000. And thank you for everybody that participated and making that happen. That is definitely a big accomplishment. And I guess I'll say one other thing. It was mentioned tonight about the difference from this year and last year, something that I know the city manager was looking at last year, and administrations change, and we've had conversations about this, something that we want to make, that was something that we made a priority this year, and I think that's a positive thing, and we should be very appreciative to that, and putting some focus back on our parks. Then with that, I wanted to mention it. It's been mentioned a few times that the concerts in the park start tomorrow. It's hard to believe it's already that time of year again. It's a great thing for the community. I know it's something that people look forward to all year round. I have people always talking about it. Only to give the first couple bands. Tomorrow will be Major Woody, which is a rock, Motown, little blues, variety of stuff. Theo Gridiron is the next week. He's actually the singer for the Detroit Lions, and he'll be here. He's the one that does Forward Down the Field for the Detroit Lions, but has a band, and I heard he's very, very interactive and really good. And then Live Bullet Detroit will be the third week, and they've been here before. They were our only rain band before, and we still had a great crowd with them in the past. So I think that's it's going to be very great. And with that, could I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.